Good. Shalom, how are you? Nice to see you. Today we want to speak about Parashat Chukat. In Parashat Chukat, a lot of big, interesting issues, a lot of miracles happen to the Jews in Parashat Chukat, and I wanted really to speak to you about miracles today. I'll start with some kind of a joke. So, a religious man, went to buy a car, very expensive, modern, up-to-date sports car, and the seller tells him it's a very special car. He tells him, if you want to drive, you have to say Baruch Hashem. If you want to stop the car, you have to say Shema Yisrael. Wow, such an interesting car, fine. So he takes it and he gets inside the car and says, Baruch Hashem, and he starts driving. And he drives and really enjoys it, gets speed, and he drives smooth and nice, and he goes fast, and he enjoys the breeze and everything. And then he realizes that he really drives very fast until he came to a cliff. He comes to a cliff and he's like, "Oh, what should I do now?" He's really frightened. So he says, "Shema Yisrael," and the car stopped. He was so happy. He opens his eyes and he really saw that the car stopped. He says, Baruch Hashem. And this is how this nice joke stops. Obviously, when we think about miracles, we don't want this kind of miracles, right? We want miracles to happen. How exactly it works? And let's try to see first what happened in our parasha, and then we'll go to current events, the things that we have to ask for, to pray for. 2 of the 3 leaders of Am Yisrael are dying in this parasha. Miriam and Aaron. Miriam, because of her merit, so the whole, these millions of Jews wandering in the desert for 40 years got a lot of water because of her. Okay, she was standing by the river, she was watching little Moshe, right? And because of her, she was standing by the water. In her merit, they had water all this time for millions of people. When you have water constantly, you go to the faucet, you open your water, you don't appreciate it so much as if our grandmothers would appreciate the water, because they would go to the well, they would go to pick it up. Cold in the winter, hot in the summer, they had to go anyway. It wasn't easy, but when they used the water, they really appreciated it, right? So these people, hundreds and millions of people, are using water for such a long time because of her Miriam's merit, and nobody really appreciates it. When do they pay attention that it's missing? After her death. After her death, we know that the well of Miriam disappeared, and they were lacking water. So it wasn't easy. And B'zchut Aaron, because of the merit of Aaron HaKohen, they had the clouds. When you think, the first thing that you think about wandering in the desert, what would you think about?
It's hot.
It's heat, hot over there, right? What else?
It's like,
Huh?
it's like it's endless.
Endless, forever. And you're walking, and there's a lot of dangerous animals in the desert, right? For 40 years, okay, the Jews never felt that it's hot because of the clouds. The clouds made it cool. They had this air conditioning 24/7 all the time. The clouds would go in front of them and smooth up the way, so they won't have rocks and they won't have any obstacles there. No, all kind of things that grow, and thorns would get into them and all kind of troubles. No, it was smooth and it was nice, right? And no enemies, because the enemy, they were protected. all around, from above, from the heat, from underneath, from all kind of problems on the ground, from all the sides, from all kind of enemies and all kind of animals and whatever you want. So once Aaron passed away, all of a sudden they stumbled into all kind of problems. This is when the Jews started to complain. What's going to happen? How long could we continue? And once you start complaining, you're complaining about everything. So who needs this stupid food? You know, they used to have the man. Man was so delicate, so special, so good. It would absorb in their body. They didn't have to go to the bathroom. They didn't have to spend time. Instead, you know, they could learn Torah the whole time. So it was so good for them. But once you don't appreciate something and you want to complain, you complain about the water, you complain about the food, you complain about how long can we wander in here, we want already to see the end. And so problem starts. Moshe sees, when Miriam passed away, he sees that they're all gathering up towards him. Aaron, we know that he was Ohev Shalom, Ladeh Shalom. He tells his brother, they come to condole, give us condolences because of, you know, Miriam was a leader, she passed away. He says, no, I see that they're coming, you know, if a nation, they come, they want to comfort their leaders or anybody, they would come first, the most important ones, Sarei Alafim, and then Sarei Me'od, first the generals, then the more simple, the commanders, then whatever, more simple. They come all together, the whole masses of people are coming. He knows it's not for a good reason. So Hashem tells Moshe, take the staff, take the stick, right, and go and speak to the rock. Moshe goes, but he doesn't find that rock because the well of Miriam, which was in an image of a rock, disappeared. Well, went and, you know, mixed up with all other rocks. He doesn't know where it is exactly, and so there were Leitzan Eador. There were these jokers that made fun of him. Hey, he doesn't know where's the well, and he doesn't know how to take out the water, and he and he got angry. So the first time when it happened, years ago, Parashat Beshalach, when such a thing happened, they didn't have water, Hashem told him to hit the rock. So he thought, he was talking, and no response from any rock. He thought maybe he should hit it like previous time Hashem asked him, Hashem ordered him to do, and maybe this is how the water will come out, and this is what he did. Hashem punished him, we know, but this is not our issue. We want to speak about, by the way, those people that had fun, that made joke of Moshe Rabbeinu, so much water all of a sudden came out of those rocks that the flow, they didn't have a zchut to drink from this water. They were just drowning from this water. They didn't have a chance to drink from this water. And Hashem punished them on the spot. So, as I said, this was after Miriam passed away, and after Aaron passed away, so they didn't have any protection. Okay, the protection would be from all kinds of animals, from the heat, from the road. Now, no protection. And now they really complain. What does Hashem do? Hashem didn't really have to punish them. Just took away the protection that they had. And he took away the protection that they had. All of a sudden, they had all kinds of snakes crawling towards them and biting them and killing them and doing all kinds of problems to them. For 40 years almost, they never had one snake around, nothing. All of a sudden, snakes are coming, attacking them, and they're afraid and they don't know what to do. And this is when they understood they were really wrong. They were just complaining about Moshe, about Hashem for no reason. So the reason that Hashem, in a way, punished them with these snakes is because the snake is the first one we know that spoke Lashon Hara. And because Jews spoke now stam for no reason, Lashon Hara, they got punished with the snake. Besides, the snake will eat anything. It doesn't matter what he eats. It doesn't have taste anyway. And they complained that this food that is absorbed, the man that is absorbed and so delicate to them and so good for them, and stam complain about this, and comes this snake that tells them, Hashem really cursed the snake that he won't feel any food, right? He won't feel any taste in the way he feels only sand, and he didn't complain. Doesn't complain about the food, so he comes now to take. He punishes the Jews for their complainings. Also, they say that the snake, he usually bites the human being. He doesn't really have any benefit from this. He just does it because he likes to do it. He's just evil. And so because he has a bad nature, right? And he is going to avenge from people who just complain for food that has no defect, just do it because their nature is bad, because they used to complain. So Moshe prays for them, and when Moshe prays for them, this is when Hashem tells Moshe, okay, I want you to do Nechash HaNechoshet. What is Nechash HaNechoshet? This is serpent from copper, okay? Make the image of this, and put it high on top, so that people will look up to it, and as they were going to look up to it, all these people that were bitten by the snakes will get healed. Now think about this. Any doctor or any psychologist will tell you that if somebody, God forbid, was bitten by a sick dog, let's say, or any kind of wild animal, just the thought of it kills him. If somebody, God forbid, had an accident in a certain place, in this and this road, in this and this street, every time he comes close to this place, it's a trauma. He doesn't want to think about this. All his body gets tense, he starts shaking, he starts sweating, he starts getting these anxiety attacks and all of this, right? When a snake comes to a person and he bites him, it's not a nice feeling. And then you have to look up to this snake and get healed? It doesn't make sense. This is what the Ramban said. But he explains that even though the old idea of looking at the snake was to heal them, to teach them that not the snake is the one that bites and the snake is the one that heals, it's Hashem. It's Hashem that sends bad things to the person for a reason, okay, and heals him. Only Hashem. So Hashem didn't really punish them over here. He just took out the protection that they had. For 40 years they have protection. He just decided to remove this protection. And see now what happens to you if I don't protect you, if I don't care of you, if you thought that I don't like you, that I don't love you, and I desert you in this desert, and this is the reason you keep wandering. But no, I like you, I love you, and this is the reason that you have this protection. It says that it says like that. Moshe prays to Hashem, Hashem, please take away these snakes, these serpents out of us, because everybody knows that the remedy, that the real cure is from Hashem. Okay? They just had to take it out of them. They came to Moshe and they said, we're sorry, we were not right, that we complained for no reason, please forgive us. Moshe, see how humble he was, he didn't care about all the Lashon Hara that they spoke. Right away he went to Hashem and asked Hashem to have mercy on them. We know today that there are millions and millions of all kind of microbes and germs and violent viruses that can attack human beings, that they are out there in the atmosphere every second, that can get into us and attack us. Hashem protects us. How he protects us? He has all kind of things that he created us with all kind of protection, so that all those violent viruses and germs won't attack us. First of all, we have we have this tissue that doesn't let all kind of germs to go through. Very important. Second, we have all kind of blood cells, white blood cells, that will attack right away any kind of germ, any kind of thing that will get inside. Number 3, we have the immune system. And the immune system, right, also protects us, works constantly, day and night, all the time, all the time, so that everything will function normally in our body, all the cells, all the tissues, as we said, everything, so there won't be any problem. So when Hashem punishes, it doesn't really need to bring a disease or a sickness on a person, God forbid. It's enough that He takes away the protection. Lo aleinu, we're so useless, you know. So that's what He did in the time of in the desert. Today, if you think about this, we would hang up, let's say, instead of this serpent from copper, we would hang up. You know what's this serpent of copper? Mm-hmm. This is the sign of medicine. You go to any pharmacy, a snake that goes right. This is the nachash and nechoshet that we're talking about. Today, we would put, let's say, if you put an image of a model of, let's say, a virus, a germ, I don't know, some kind of a thing. In a way, this would be like nachash and nechoshet for us. It's a reminder that any second, okay, things can go wrong. And the only one that can cure us is Hashem, nobody else. In Masechet Brachot, it speaks about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. His students are coming to him and tell him, Rabbi, there is a very, very dangerous snake. In the terms of the Gemara, it's called arod. It's some kind of a mixture of a snake and another animal. Arod, it's called. Very dangerous snake that bites everybody, you know, that's around. What should we do? Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, and you know Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, we learned so much about him. He used to have a lot of miracles, this person. רבי חנינא בן דוסא היה מלומד בניסים. מה זה מלומד בניסים? Constantly miracles. Special man that was close to Hashem, that trusted Hashem 100%, and you know the story about they were poor. They were always poor. And once they didn't have even oil to lit the candle, so his daughter didn't know what to do, and she started crying. So the father said, what do we have at home? She says, we have some vinegar. So lit with the vinegar. A vinegar? What are you talking about? It's not going to last. He tells her, whoever says that you turn on with oil and it will last, so it will turn on with Hashem. Who cares? This is the person. He had so much trust in Hashem. He didn't have any problem with believing that Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, he comes to he says, so where is he hiding, this dangerous snake? They tell him, they show him the hiding place. He comes to this hiding place and he puts his heel on this place. The snake comes and bites him, bites him. But nothing happens to him. The snake dies instead. And so Rabbi Hanina takes this big snake on his shoulders, takes it to the Bet HaMidrash, to his shul, and tells everybody, look, lo ha'arod memit, hachet memit. It's not the snake that kills people. It's if you had sins, the sins kill you. Not because here he couldn't do anything to me, okay? So his students told him, Oy lo la'adam shepaga bo arod. It's so dangerous if somebody meets or come close to this snake, but oy lo la'arod shepaga bo Rabbi Hanina. More dangerous, you know, it is for the snake than for Rabbi Hanina. So in Likutei Torah it says that this snake, serpent, was the symbol of the evil in the world, evil and impurity, because this is what the snake represents, and all the desires of the world, you know, that's what the snake. And it looks like that evil and holiness do not go together because they're two opposites. They're not the same. But when you lift this serpent on top of a banner, mazid nes, you put it somewhere higher, like where you put the
Pole.
on a pole, right? Where you put your flags, right? You put it higher, and you look at the source of it. Why did Hashem send us the snake? What is the reason for this? This is when we realize that the snake is the messenger of Hashem. Hashem sends it. So the evil and the sins that we have in this world are not entity by itself. They come for a reason. Somebody sends them. Hashem, in a way, sends them for a reason, to tempt us sometimes, to check us, to test us if we can, overcome our desires, all kind of nisyanot that we have, and so on and so on. This serpent of snake, of copper, was wandering with Israel and entered this image, this model that Moshe Rabbeinu built, entered with them to Israel and was with them even in the first temple. However, many years later, people start to believe that this copper snake is the one that's healing people, not Hashem. They started to make it idol. So it says that in the generation of Chizkiyahu Melech, Chizkiyahu saw that people look at this as an idol, and that's not the right way. This is when he decided that he wants to get rid of this. So it says that he was grinding it and crushing it to pieces, so people won't believe in this anymore. Okay? More than that, another thing that he did, and Chazal approved it, was Shlomo Melech, King Solomon. He was the smartest, he was a very wise man, right? And he wrote a book of all the medicine, the cure that there are in the world. He wrote all of them down. If somebody has a flu, this and this should be done. If somebody has, God forbid, cancer, this and this should be done. If somebody has stiff neck, this and this should be done, right? And people looked at this and did whatever is written and were not getting sick because Shlomo Melech was smart. Chizkiyahu ganaz, he hid it. He didn't want people to use it anymore. Why not? Chizkiyahu Melech was the proof of trusting Hashem 100% and not medicine and not all kind of wizards and not all kind of medicine and so on and so on. We know that there was this decree on Chizkiyahu Melech. Comes the prophet Yeshayahu and tells him, you're going to die now. He was supposed to get married. He didn't want, we know that he saw that bad children are going to come out of him. He didn't want this and he didn't get married. Come Yeshayahu and tells him you're going to die. Because it's not your calculation. You're supposed to do whatever you're supposed to do and then Hashem will take care of the rest. Chizkiyahu tells him, what are you talking about? I'm going to die? He tells him, finish with your prophecy and leave. I know from my father that even cherov chada, even a sharp sword is on somebody's neck. A person should not give up. And so he tells him, I will pray and you will see that Hashem will listen to me. And he prayed to Hashem and he made tshuva. And it says that Hashem gave him another 15 years. So it's not nechasha nechoshet. It's not you believe in this and you believe in that and you would come and you call witchcrafts, you would come and you would call all kind of magicians, you would come. No, it's only Hashem that has the key of life and death. And so also with this medical medicine book, if people believe that there is a cure to anything, and if there's a problem, you're going to go and you're going to buy it, even though it costs $1,000 this medicine, and then you're going to use it, you're going to be okay. What happens? People don't pray to Hashem anymore. If people don't pray to Hashem anymore, they get far from Hashem. This is not the idea. The Nachash was supposed to remind them that Hashem heals and Hashem And well, they went too far from this. This is why Chizkiyahu hid this book and crashed this thing to pieces. It says there was this man that wanted to make charity, but not just a regular charity. He wanted to make matan beseter. You know what's matan beseter? When you don't know who gave the donation. You know, he didn't write his name on top of the institution. I am the one that gave the money to this and this. He didn't want people to know how much he gives. He goes to this Rosh Kollel that he knows. He tells him, listen, I want to finance. I would take care, okay, of 5, let's say, avrachim that will study, and I will pay them the whole salary. They would just sit and study. But one condition, you don't tell them who I am. I don't want them to call me and to thank me or nothing. Matan beseter, pure charity. Nobody knows who gave and how much and so on. He said, well, why? It's good that those guys will call you, will appreciate you, will know that somebody thinks about them. And he says, no, I don't want them to know. Fine. He didn't tell them anything. And for 15 years, they had this beautiful arrangement of this guy paying their salary. They don't know who pays it. Full salary for these 5 students. They go, they support their families. Fine. After 15 years, lo alenu, this guy passed away. And this is when the Rosh Kollel felt that he can already announce the name of this person so that they could come to his levaya and thank maybe the family or something. Fine, so he tells his students, they all come, and they're very sad. All the levaya, they're thinking, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? Who's going to support us? What should we do? What should we do? Where should we find? What should we do? And the Rosh Kollel, meanwhile, he gives a lot of eulogies. He speaks about this person, how generous he was, how such a nice donation, whatever he was talking about him. In the end of that levaya, comes to him another one. He tells him, listen, I really like that eulogy. I have 2 requests for you. Number 1, when I die, when it's my time, I want you to make my eulogies. Number 2, I want to have the same arrangement that man had with you. I would like to support these 5 avrachim completely without knowing. Nobody should know who I am. The man was shocked. Thank you. And he let know later on the avrachim, everything's okay. Somebody else took over. You'll be fine. Don't worry. They were so happy. Everything was okay. Another, I don't know how many years it continued, this arrangement, until this one also passed away. Comes the levaya, the eulogies. He talks about him, how generous he was, and so on and so on. And in a way, they wait now for another one to come and to take over. Nobody comes. Next day, 2nd day of Shiva, nobody comes. 7 days of Shiva passed, nobody comes. 30 days passed, nobody comes. And the avrachim are tensed. What should we do? They come to the Rosh Kollel. What should they do? The Rosh Kollel told them something interesting. He said, when the first guy passed away, he was so worried, and you were praying to Hashem, please find us. When the second one passed away, you didn't pray to Hashem. You just, maximum, what did you pray? So another one would come and take over. You were not worried anymore. You didn't pray to Hashem. You didn't put all your trust in Hashem. This was the problem.
Isn't it a way like you do trust in Hashem, like it's gonna work out, like Hashem has your back kind of thing? If you're not like, crying for it, like you just know that it'll be okay because Hashem's gonna have your back somehow, whatever it is. I'm just like wondering.
Like you trust your father, you trust Hashem, you know that He will hold your back.
Well, but sometimes hard times come. What do you do at that time? As much as you try, remedy is not coming yet. Redemption is not coming yet, I should say. If things are not working, panasa or no health or some other thing, it doesn't work out. And you're like, so what am I doing now? You have to believe that everything that Hashem does is for the best. Okay? Yes, we have to believe that everything will be okay, but sometimes they are not okay on the spot whenever you need it. So what do you do then? You're crying out, you don't know what to do. So what we have to believe is that everything is for our best. It's a nisayon, we will overcome it. It's maybe just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. This is how you're able to wait and to continue, to strive, to pray. But that's what basically what Hashem wants from us, to pray. So there's a question is like that. So, Haim Nachash Memit, V'chi Nachash Memit or Nachash Mechayat? That's the question over there. Is the serpent is the one, the snake is the one that kills or not? Or the same, in a way, sentence was in the war that they have against Amalek. When Amalek comes, so Moshe had to pray and put his hands. And when his hands were up holding up, so the same question was asked there, וכי ידיו של משה עושות מלחמה או שוברות מלחמה? אלא להודיע לך שכל זמן, every time that his hand was in heaven, his eyes were looking for heaven and asking and praying for Hashem, please Hashem, please help. Right? This is when Hashem would make the victory against Amalek. Same over here. Whenever they look up, okay? כל זמן שישראל מסתכלים כלפי מעלה ומשעבדים את ליבם לאביהם שבשמיים, enslave their hearts towards Hashem, believe that Hashem is everything, this is when היו מתרפאים, this is when they would heal. So the key of life and death is in the hand of Hashem, and this is something that we have to remember always, always, always. In the continuation, as we progress with the parasha, we see that Israel, they fight against the kings of the Amori, okay? And again, we see lots and lots and lots of miracles that Israel, they were not even introduced to it as they were doing this war. Only afterwards they realized how big miracles Hashem did to them. So, I want to explain where are we now. For 40 years, okay, people are going and wandering and wandering and going. See how many stops they had all these 40 years, okay? In our parasha, what we're talking about is from here. Horahar is when Aaron Cohen passed away, and they had to pass Edom. Edom didn't let them pass, and they're not allowed to fight against Edom, so they had to pass Edom. They cannot really touch Moab and Ammon were not allowed to touch, so they were supposed to fight against the Amori, which was around here, okay, and they cannot really get into Israel because Edom is here, and then Moab, and then this. So they have to go now, and they're around, after they went a little bit up, when the clouds were not there anymore, all of a sudden Amalek, the Canaanite, came to fight against them. They saw that the clouds are not there, Aaron Cohen passed away, they start to attack them. The Jews were so afraid, they went 8 stops they went back. They went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 back into the desert because they were so afraid of the Amalek. So they went back. This is when they start to complain, and okay, this is the thing that happened. So they come closer, and now they're supposed to go and do all this. We are now over here. Okay, that's the story. As they come to where they fight against the Amori, let me show it to you in a different picture. They're over here, okay? They come to fight against the Amori. So there were 2 huge mountains. One is the side of the Amori, this is the Amori, one of this side, and one of the side of the Moab. 2 huge mountains. In the middle, there's a big valley, and this Nahal Arnon, this river, okay? So, the Amorites, and the Moabim, they wanted to kill Israel as they will pass inside this valley, they wanted to kill them. On these mountains, there were a lot of caves and a lot of hiding places that they could hide. All these soldiers, all these Moavi and Amorite soldiers, went to hide inside some high places, some low places. If Israel will go, they would throw on them all kind of arrows and stones and rocks, and they would smash them. That's what they wanted to do. So Hashem knew that, Israel didn't know that. And as they come closer, what happened was that Hashem made a miracle. The mountain from the side of the Amorite shook very strong and came close to the mountain of Moab. So like a puzzle, they went inside and crashed and smashed all the soldiers of the Amorite and the Moabite that were in there. So they died, a lot of them. And continue on. Now Israel didn't see that, they didn't know. For them, it was a smooth way. Once they got together, those mountains, for them it was a smooth way. They continue, although nothing happened. So Hashem says, I made such a big miracle and they won't even notice that. So this is when the well of Miriam, this is what it says, came to show them what miracle happened. The cave of so Hashem moved back one of the mountains, and the cave of Miriam went into the river, was flowing inside the river, and because of the big stream of water over there, all of a sudden all kind of body parts are coming out, heads and hands and bodies, bloodied water are coming. And this is when Israel saw that all their enemies died in that battle, even without fighting. They didn't even know about this. So this is the big miracle that happened to them over here in this area. And this is when they said shiur. They said Ali Be'er, a nice song that they sang. In the time of Shmuel HaKatan was, we mentioned this rabbi, we spoke about him once in the Mishnayot, in Pirkei